just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. You know what IC stands for? Stands for In Christ Radio. It also stands for I Can See You on the Radio, because we're on television as well. In North Alabama, we're on channel 182 on Charter Communications. And then worldwide, we're on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much. You know, you're the apple of my eye. I know you could be doing anything else, but you're going to watch Cathy and me today. And Cathy and I go back a long way. So we're doing a pilot show right now. I just want to introduce you to Cathy. Let's see what you think about her. I think you're going to like her. Now, Cathy and I teamed up years ago. Cathy, what year was it we started the show?
That was back in 2005, Donna. And you had a beautiful little kiosk at the Quintard Mall. You remember that?
I remember that.
And you have always done the beauty supplies. And then me and you years ago, remember we did some, I had that big connection with modeling back when Macy's modeling was here. Then Peggy Hunter, which Peggy actually lives in Fort Walton now.
Oh, does she?
Yes, she remarried, and she's really big in their chamber and all in Fort Walton. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool, huh?
That is.
Small world.
We had a lot of fun, didn't we? And
yes,
so what happens is Cathy walks up to me in the kiosk, and so we had the show called The Edge, and the show for women and by women and about women. Mm-hmm. Although we had a lot of guys who watched the show too, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. They wanted to like little tips on what are women about? What do you mean? Do you remember that time we were going down the road one day? And so Phil and I were. And so I said, we passed by Wendy's, and I said, I like Frosties. Well, Phil just kept going. And I said, I kind of sold on him a little bit. And he said, what's wrong? I said, I wanted a Frosty. He said, you didn't say you wanted a Frosty. You said you liked Frosties. And I said, yes, I did. I said, I want a Frosty. He said, no, you said you liked them. That's womanese. He kept saying that was womanese. And remember, we started getting messages from guys saying, I'm on your husband's side. Can't you women say what you want?
I know we want them to be mind readers, and they are not.
No, they're not.
They're not. And we drop little hints, but they just don't get them. No, they don't get it. They don't get it. No.
So what we're going to do, we're going to start the show back up again. The Edge.
Yes, that's right.
About, you know,
and actually, Donna, did you tell them while we stopped it? Donna moved away.
I moved.
She had to move, and then when she moved away, I did the morning show for 2 hours. So we both stayed, but we just did something else. And then we also had families, and you had your son, I had my kids, and oh goodness, and life. And so, and plus two, I was a nurse. And now I've actually, with COVID, I have been just focused on my family. You know, now we have 5 children. So I've been focused on my husband and the children the past 2 years. And actually, I have just been at home and enjoying. 2 daughters got married. I have a new grandchild. And then my son is about to be in his 6th year playing college basketball.
Oh, yeah. We just had a lot of stuff going on, life happening and all that kind of stuff. But I always missed the show. And I've still got our pictures, by the way. Remember the publicity pictures we took? Mm-hmm. And so I've still got those. They're hanging up in my office. And so I've had them all this time. And I don't know.
So you'll have to take those and compare them to our new ones. Because we did some new ones. Your husband was our photographer. And he did a great job, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He
did. And those were like, and those are always the best pictures. People don't realize a lot of times when you capture a moment that's not anticipated, it is the best pictures.
Those are, I don't do good posing. I just don't.
No, those were not posing. Those were like me and you were having fun, and we told Phil to snap the pictures. And then after the fact, we started talking and decided to hey, maybe we should do the Edge again, you know?
I think we should. I do.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the show and what it's going to be all about. Because, before it was a popular show, I just had to move. Phil took a job promotion and it took us to Charlotte, North Carolina. And I miss all my friends in Charlotte and they still watch this show. So we appreciate that as well. But I had a show in Charlotte too. And I called it The Woman's Edge.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. But it's good to be back home, good to be back in Alabama, good to be with you, Cathy. So let's talk.
Yeah, and hopefully we can help hopefully a vast area of community this time, maybe Calhoun, Cherokee, and then the county that you're in Geraldine is what, DeKalb? Is that right?
And then you got Marshall County just right up.
Right.
Actually, by being on Abundant TV, we're worldwide, so we can be in everybody's community.
Oh yeah, that's
going to be super fun. But what we're going to do, and this is real with Cathy and me, okay? Because Cathy and we're regular folks. And so we go through some of the struggles you go through. You got kids, you got family, you got hubby you got to take care of. And, sometimes us women don't take really good care of ourselves because we're so busy looking out after the family. But you and I have a few, we're taking care of the family, but we've also learned little tips on how to take care of ourselves too.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, because Cathy and I are both Christians.
Yes.
And so now your husband's a minister.
Well, yes, he's actually an Alpha agent, but he fills in and helps, part-time. Not really even part-time, but he's a fill-in preacher at our little small church that we go to. So, but he's a really good man. We've been together now 11 years. So, but we've been married a little over 9.5. So it'll be 10 years in March.
That's cool. And he brings out something in you. I really do like him. I approve.
And you met him a little bit.
I'm the older sister who has to approve these things.
That's right. So I had to introduce you the other day. Yeah.
I like him. And I'm pretty good at when I meet somebody, whether I think, I've done this before with people. I don't know. I need to sit down and talk. But
with COVID the past 2 years, you feel like you're just hibernated. Everybody probably does.
Oh, I hate that.
And it's not been really good for our young people. I know my two, all three of the boys, they basically have told us, all they do is they do their schoolwork. Everything's basically in their apartment. They have to go to the gym to work out, to have socialization, the two boys in Georgia. And then my son in Tennessee, he plays basketball. So he does thankfully have that group, the same group that he sees all the time.
Well, now Tennessee has been a little more loose about control over too, so I'm pretty sure that helped him a lot.
Yeah, this summer he actually did basketball, but he also worked at a camp up there. Like we have the YMCA camps, I guess in Alabama, Camp Lee's, all those camps. But up there, I don't know the name of the camp. I didn't actually ask him, to be honest, but it's a parent of one of the basketball players. So I felt really good about that because that college is a Christian school. So it's a great university, which all the kids went to great universities. Now I have a JSU graduate, an Auburn twice graduate. She graduated with her master's too. So, and now he'll actually have he's already gotten his bachelor's. And so now he'll have his master's next year. So, and then the other two are still in school. So we're waiting to see what happens with them. But right now, Donna, to be honest, a lot of kids, if they are actually going into the technical field.
Oh, wow.
The doors are going to explode. They're going to be able to make so much money welding, mechanics. There is such a need for just a mechanic, a diesel mechanic. There's like a huge need for those right now. So those young men and women that go into those fields, they may end up making a lot more than our professionals.
I know.
And they're going to be a professional in a different
But
technical skill.
without that huge college debt, because Northeast Alabama Community College, they're one of our sponsors on Afternoon Drive Home, and I love them. Love what they do. Sneed State, and is Ayers still down there in Oxford?
Now, well, Ayers is still there, but I think it's owned by Gadsden State.
Oh, okay.
A couple of years ago, I actually had to have a female surgery, which all women hate those. But at the time, I couldn't lift. So I actually resigned from the hospital working in Flex in the ICU. And I taught clinicals again for Gadsden State. But it was actually out of the Cherokee hub that I actually taught the clinicals out of for this area in Calhoun County. So they have really branched off. Gadsden State's Dr. Martha Lavender was the president when I did that. Now she has retired since then. Wonderful lady. I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying that. Dr. Martha Lavender was an excellent instructor, nurse. She was great at JSU and fantastic, I understand, as the president of Gadsden State until she retired. So,
well, I'm glad you mentioned the tech jobs, because the tech jobs are really the upcoming right now.
Yes.
And let me tell you what I've learned about tech jobs. And this is pretty cool, is, everybody wants to move away from mama when they graduate out of high school. So they should, and let's just use the one with welding, because I've heard of careers that are in welding. You could go to Mobile, you can go do ocean welding, whatever, and they pay over 6 figures a year. Start out, and all you've got to have is a certificate. Okay, then what happens is we mature a little bit, we meet the right one, we get married and got to simmer down just a little bit, okay, not travel so much. And then by the time a couple of kids come in, you really need to stay close to home base. So you can, a couple of things, you can either start your own business, or you can work for somebody, or you can be an independent contractor, which is super awesome. We got Google coming up here not too far, in Bridgeport, Alabama pretty soon. So that would be another kind of localized place to go. Then we want to retire, Cathy. And guess what people do? They want to contract you out to train their employees, because you got all
that's right.
No college debt, pays good figures. And I'm gonna tell you what I'd do, Cathy. If I were young right now, still in high school, I'd go ahead and get a couple of certificates, and I'd work day and night. I'd sponge off my parents a little bit, so I wouldn't have the expenses.
Save that money.
I'd save up money and go ahead and pay cash for a house, my own vehicle, and the whole works. I'd be a woman of my own.
And another industry right now is booming is the trucking industry. Oh my goodness. The trucking industry. I mean, I've seen jobs, like you see on Facebook, they're paying over $100,000, a lot of those truck companies, to recruit truck drivers. And they lowered the age, didn't they? Didn't they lower the age in Alabama to, is it 20 now or 18? I don't know.
I don't want to quote it, because I know they lowered it, but I don't remember what they lowered.
Yeah, I don't either. But it used to be 21, I think.
And that's a good way to
think.
And you don't have to be a kid with that, Cathy. I mean, Phil and I could decide we don't do radio, but that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
We decide we didn't want to do this, and we just want to travel the world. We could be truckers.
I know, right?
Ride together and just go all kinds.
Sleep in your hub and in your cab, and wake up. He could drive along, Donna, and then the next thing you know, you're in another city, in another state. I want you to talk a little bit about the medical field, but before you start that, you can also get a certificate and get you on the way to be in the medical field. You'll always have a job if you want one. Oh, yes.
That's about how nursing changed since COVID hit.
It's changed a lot. My oldest daughter is a nurse, and she worked in the COVID when it first hit. I resigned when it first hit, because I still had a diabetic daughter at home, a type 1 diabetic. So I resigned, and I chose, she was about to graduate college, get married. And I wanted to live those moments. And we did not know anything about COVID really, other than an N95 would protect you at the hospitals, and when it first hit, a lot of the hospitals, they only provided that in the ICU ER areas. well, it was kind of scary for any of the other areas, you know. So I just didn't take the risk. I wasn't working full time. So I just, like me and you are, frugal. I found ways to cut every dollar so that I could stay home with her and enjoy. She graduated from JSU and she's wonderful. She's a great teacher. Straight A's in college that I never expected. So that is a profound encouragement for all those type 1 diabetics out there.
Absolutely.
You can do what you set your mind to. Moms, just encourage them, push them, stay on top of them, because they can do anything. They're normal. They just have to control the diabetes and not let the diabetes control them.
I really don't let anything control you. I mean, you
right.
Now, Cathy knows about this. Back in 1977, I graduated out of high school. And so I was quietest in Who's Who. You can see me in the annual. As a matter of fact, I'll send a picture out for everybody to see. I'm holding a sign up. I'm not even looking in the camera, but I'm holding a sign up that says, "Quiet, please." And Randy,
is it really?
And Randy Croft, he was quiet too. And so we were just sitting there like this. Hurry up and get the picture, please.
Wow.
But really, you can change the direction. I mean, you really can.
Yes.
But I had a teacher, and Miss Rich was her name. And I didn't like it so much at the time, Cathy. But so it was my English teacher, Gwendolyn Ritchie, and very, very strict. And she could look very intimidating. She had these glasses, reader's glasses, and she would look at you like that with those glasses on. She had a red ink pen, and everybody was freaked. Every time you have to do speech or whatever, she'd just be sitting there looking at you like this and waiting on you to say, or something like that. And you'd see her just with that red pen. Yeah. So we're having speech, and she said, "Okay, Mrs. Shears, I want you to be the first one." And I'm freaking. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll just get it over with. I just want to get it over with. So I get up there and I'm thinking I'm going to pass out. You know, they'll have to mop me up off the floor or whatever. But there was something about being up in front of everybody that I could do. It was weird. You know, being the quietest person in school, but able to do speech was weird, you know. And so she's looking at me, she's kind of like Simon on American Idol. You know, how he go, yeah, this person's not.
Yeah, where he crosses his arms.
So anyway, she's kind of looking at me like, let's just hurry up and get this thing over with. And then I get up there and I kind of came out and she goes, like that. Then after class is over with, she said, "We're going to work on that. We're going to work on it." And so I thought that was a compliment coming from her because she didn't dish them out. She had to see something in you, which was minute, I'm sure. But anyway, she had to see something in you. But now you've been an influence like that with your kids. And I've been an influence like that with my son, with Brian.
Well, yeah. And you know what's fantastic, Donna, is that you don't realize it. Like my oldest daughter, I so wanted her to be a pharmacist. You know, that was my dream for her, right? Or a doctor. No, she's a nurse, got her master's in nursing from Auburn. So that's great. She's carrying on that legacy of mom. And of course, my great aunt Hazel was a nurse back in the Florence Nightingale days.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That would be my great aunt. That, you know, I guess great aunt. Actually, she was during the Florence Nightingale era. But and then Erica, my middle daughter, the one that I wanted to see get married, because I was so happy that she had such a good life. You know, that she made it this far, graduated college, got married. And you know, the one thing that we're talking about with technical jobs, right, that they're so booming, so important. Me and you used to call them the home ec teachers, right? Now it's called family and consumer science.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called fax teachers now. So anyway, she's a fax teacher.
Oh, good.
And yes, and she is the best. You would never know that she has type 1 diabetes by looking at her anyway. You know, she's thin and pretty, and but she is so sweet and quiet. She's my quiet one of the 3 children, you know, of my 3. Now, Chris's 2 boys, they're very talkative, but one of them's quiet, you know, one of them's outgoing, like my son that plays basketball. They're outgoing in a different way. But back to the technical careers that everybody, oh my goodness, it's exploding. And those are so important in our schools. I mean, I went and helped her every year before the school year starts. We clean her kitchen. She paints. I helped her clean the ovens. We cleaned the refrigerators out. We clean it, you know, just where it's spick and span clean. And she teaches them how to bake and how to do normal everyday living.
That's great.
The things that people don't, a lot of times parents get so busy working in their careers.
Absolutely.
They forget to tell okay, come into the kitchen. Let me show you how to boil an egg. You know, let me show you how to scramble an egg. Let me show you how to make some homemade pancakes, homemade biscuits. Oh my gosh, Donna, she makes homemade biscuits to die for. They are so good.
We're going to have to get her on the show.
Oh my goodness.
Have to come and show us how to do things.
Oh my.
I want us to have a segment with 2 ingredient recipes. You'd be amazed. You can make pizza. You know, you can make pizza dough with 2 ingredients.
Oh yeah.
Flour and yogurt.
Yeah.
I mean, and then roll it up and you got some awesome pizza dough. But
wow.
I want to talk about,
I didn't know that.
Let's talk about this too, because we're in a world right now where kids have everything dished at them. I mean, it's just, it's negative. And if they watch television very much at all, I mean, all they hear is bad stuff. And we keep the news turned off in this house. I mean, we don't sit and listen. I mean, you got to know what's going on in the world now. You can't live under a rock, but you've got to do it in moderation. So how do you raise kids? Because see, my son's 43 years old, so it's been a while since he's, you know, been in the young. So how do you raise younger kids in this world and keep them positive?
Well, I think it's just so hard. The best thing that they can do, which what I see my children do, they actually encourage me. They're like, Mom, okay, you've got to get out. You've got to live now, Mom. Just wear your cute little robot mask and go on to Target, you know. You know, come on. And I love keeping my granddaughter. You know, she's a new baby. Of course, all 3 of my children are in their 20s. Well, actually, all 5 of our kids are in their 20s. They're all in their 20s. We go from 20 to 28. So there's an abundance of age. They're doorsteps, you know. So, and we're getting to see them all blossom. And the good thing is that they're actually good for me. You know, they're good for us.
You watch Andy Griffith very much.
Oh yes, my husband loves Andy Griffith.
I can quote the shows. I can quote them. One of my favorite episodes. That's a sad laugh when I can quote it.
Well, my husband loves and Sanford and Son. I
love those.
My husband watches those all the time.
Well, there's an episode on Andy Griffith that I think is remarkable, and it's the one where Opie kills the bird, you know, with his slingshot. You remember that one? And so he's feeling really bad about it, and of course Andy's punishing him about it, you know, which you've got to do that. There's got to be correction there. I'm not talking about just hum on and on and on about it, but what I mean is they need to correct things when they're That's how you learn, and it's how you grow. So anyway, Opie wants to take care of these birds. And he's feeding them, you know, he's got them outside. Well, it's time to let them go. And it makes you think of being a parent when your kids are blossoming and they're growing out. So, so Opie said, I just hope I did the right things. He said, how do I know they're going to live? How do I know they're going to fly? If they're going to eat, how do I know what's going to happen? And so he lets each bird go. And so they start flying up in the trees. Then Opie looks in his little bird cage and he goes, wow, the bird cage is empty now. And Andy says, but don't the trees sound good? And you could hear the little chirping of the little birds because that
was a great episode.
I love those. And that is one of my favorite ones. And it really helps me when I was raising Brad. I would think about that. I would think, am I doing the right thing? What if I just destroy his life without meaning to?
Well, the biggest thing right now is to just go out and enjoy life, but make the right choices, Donna. You know, that is on all, you know, that's on local news right now. Just be smart. If there is a high spread of COVID in your area, and now we're having to deal with monkeypox, bless our children's hearts. then, if guess what though, if you're going into a large venue and it's a lot of people and you don't know them, throw your mask on, just throw your mask on so you don't have to worry, hopefully, and look, I guess it's going to protect you from both now, because now we've got a monkeypox outbreak.
It's nuts. It's nuts. But we're having to deal with these things, and the kids now are having to deal with the stuff we never had to deal with when we were. Think about the year 2020, and you're graduating from high school, but you can't go walk across the stage. You can't be in the gymnasium and have a regular. Those kids were robbed of that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had 2 graduate college and 1 high school that year. And that was it. You just kind of, I think now it's become a way of life. Like in Japan, isn't that the country that basically they wore masks anyway all the time? In Japan?
They did,
because their population is so dense. So they wore masks because they were so congested to keep things from spreading. Well, that's their way of life. And I guess it's kind of going to be our way of life in, large settings, maybe for, until this pandemic is calmed down, because it's not endemic, it's still a pandemic, and that's the reason why we keep having all these variants, pop up.
Oh, you're going to have many more of those things coming out as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I think we're just going to have to make the right choices. You're just going to have to be smart,
Well, see, here's what I do, because I have asthma.
Right.
And Cathy, I didn't have asthma. I worked at a radio station in Fort Payne, and the guy smoked like a chimney.
On the set? Oh, my.
So I wound up getting asthma.
Oh, secondhand smoke now is not good. That's a no-no.
That's not good. That's not good. It's
different. If people want to smoke, that whatever they want to do, but you got to think of others, Yeah, secondhand smoke is really, can be dangerous.
Because of the asthma, I can't, it's hard for me to wear a mask. So here's what I do, because out of honor and concern of other folks. So if it starts getting up again, and we're beginning to have a little onshot of more.
We're in a surge right now.
So what I do is I just stay home in my home studio, and then I've got my green screen and all that. That way I'm not bothering anybody, and thank God for Zoom. Because
this is fantastic,
and still keep the show going on. So that way I'm in honor of other people, plus I'm not smothering. But now let me tell you, for some of you who say Donna's just one of those who just doesn't believe in masks, that's not the case. I've got, and you've seen my studio, and I've been making jewelry and stuff forever, and so I work with metals. So I'm a metalsmith. And that's another thing I love about everything I do. And Phil always says, well, if you can only choose one or the other, which would it be, television, or would it be your, and I said, both. I'm not going to make a choice. I can do both of them.
Well, Donna, I don't want to interrupt you, but the good thing about the Edge that we always did, and we're going to bring that back to our viewing audience, is all these great things that you can do to be frugal with your money. You can garden, you can bake, you can make things. There is so many things that you can do at home.
Absolutely.
And you can go to thrift stores.
We got to go on a commercial break so we can pay.
Okay.
Let's go on. And then when we go on the commercial break, you can take the video off, or I'll do it for you. And then as soon as we come back in, you can put it back on again.
Okay.
All right. So folks, let's go ahead and get ready so we can pay for this show. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
I said, God, you gotta move this mountain. I just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when I heard the voice from heaven say, don't tell me about that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your feet, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand, get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain. Now tell that mountain about me. Introduce the problem to the answer, and you will see that problem step aside. There's no place for fear. The God of heaven is near. Step out in faith and face it eye to eye. Don't tell me about that mountain. Tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand. Get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain. Now tell that mountain about me. Tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. Don't tell me about that mountain. Tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You've said your prayers, now take a stand. Get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain. Now tell that mountain about me.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio. In the town of Geraldine, Alabama, we're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. Now, that's local in North Alabama. You can also find us on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I've got Cathy with me right now, and it's my old buddy from back in the day. And so we're going to start The Edge with Donna and Cathy back again, and we're really excited about that. About to start a kids show as well, and so I'm going to be Dakota Donna on that, and so I'm looking forward to that. And then just a few more weeks, Cathy and I are going to start again The Edge. I wanted to mention to you Exodus, the music you were just hearing in the background with the commercials. So Exodus is an awesome group, and I know them, friends with all those girls, and so it's Susan, Hannah, and Mary. And Susan wrote that song. And so I asked Susan if I could use that for the lead in for the show, Afternoon Drive Home. And she said she'd be honored. So I grabbed that. I mean, it's just a really good song. It's just amazing to me, Cathy, how people can write songs, put the music together, and just make a world out of it. It's amazing. Absolutely. All right, Cathy. Let's see. I think everything's lined up the way it needs to be here. Absolutely.
I can't see you, Donna.
Okay, I can see you.
Oh, really? I can't see anything. I'm just seeing a blank screen.
Okay, look down at the bottom where it says start video and see if you see that. Do you see that anywhere on the bottom?
No, actually it's saying join a live Zoom demo, get on guest list.
No, I don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, let's see if I can figure out something else. Okay, we're in start. We're in everything that we need to be in.
Well, I can hear you. I just can't see you.
Can't see me.
Can you see me though?
Yeah, I'm looking at you right now.
That is crazy. I can't see you.
You are right on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop video and I'm going to start it again. So let's see how computers are. This is just all kinds of weird. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that.
Okay, so okay. Oh, wait a minute. Now hold on. Now I got it.
Okay. You got to.
There we go. Well, wait. No, it's doing the same thing.
Oh, is it? Well,
This host has stopped the video.
No, you're wrong. I'm looking at you right now, Cathy.
Well, you know what? We'll just have to make do because I can't see you, but I can hear you. So you'll just, you know what, people, this is real life. This is life.
But you know what? I got to do is jump hurdles, right?
Right.
Well, we've jumped a lot of hurdles before. We're talking about how to make life easier, and I'm all for that. I mean, make it easier. And because we're women, we think we got to do it all. We think we got to do it all yesterday. And Cathy's personality is a lot like mine. She and I we want to do something. We do it, don't we, Cathy?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before we went to commercial break. I still go out and do what I need to do, but because I have a granddaughter, she just turned a year old. This past year, I did wear a mask everywhere I went, even though, we didn't even have that much COVID. It's because I was trying to protect her, because I'm around her, but I still got out and did what we needed to do. The kids come over. Sometimes, if one of the kids come and we know they don't know where they've been, then we would actually wear a mask, a little surgical mask, even in our house, So, but you just have to learn to live with it and keep going,
That's what we have to do, because life is always throwing stuff out there at you.
And Donna, I can't see you, but you can see me, so that's all that matters, I guess.
I can see you, and you'll see it when this show runs again as a
yeah.
And I'm going to let you know when it runs again. So
okay.
Going on.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm seeing you very clear. I mean, you look at.
Well, I am so excited, and I hope everybody tunes in. Me and Donna are going to start shooting some shows in the next couple of weeks, and we are going to try to focus on things that are everyday living, that women, men, from dove hunting season's coming up, Donna. Me and my husband love to dove hunt, but we haven't got to do it in a couple of years,
Huh. So dove hunting, I've never done that. So
yeah.
All right. So tell me what you do. Okay. So
we haven't got to go in, like, I want to say 2 or 3. Well, since before COVID, it's the last time we went dove hunting, and it's fun. You have to be very, quiet and patient. You have to sit on the bucket until you see the doves flying. And then once you get them within range, you shoot them.
I'm just not seeing you sitting still.
I actually did that. Yeah. I love dove hunting.
Okay.
I love dove hunting.
One of those. That'll be a show. Okay.
Love dove hunting. Now, I haven't been turkey hunting. I would like to do that too. You have to be really quiet to do that too. I think, Donna, with age, we become quieter, but we can converse when we want.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Kind of get quieter. Kind of.
Yeah. But I mean, like me and you, women, we get together. Yes, we love to talk. Women love to talk to each other. But around other people or men or, church, you say, I think it's because it's as we grow older, we have more on our plate.
Oh, and we're wiser. We're a little wiser, so that's kind of cool.
Right.
I want to ask you a question. Okay. Right. No. Your kids, you got a couple of kids that are married, and then Brad is married to Larissa. I can't wait for you to meet her. She's from Russia, by the way.
Wow.
She was adopted years when she was 9 years old, and knows what it's like to live in a communist country. Right. Started on socialism, but anyway, because I was never first time being a mother-in-law. And I want to be like a good mother-in-law. I want to be one of those that, that my daughter-in-law loves me. I want to be one of those because, and she is part of our family. I can't think of how our life was without her. I mean, she brings so much into the family. But here's some advice I gave her. I don't dish out advice either unless she asks for it. So there was some advice, and it was at her shower. And and I was meeting her family for the first time, and they're awesome folks. My son married into the absolute best family ever. So that was a prayer answered.
Yes, that's good.
So it's kind of cool. So they come around to the mother and the mother-in-law, and I said, well, okay, I got a couple of things. And I said, first of all, I'm not gonna be bossy. I don't have time. I'm busy. I don't have time to be bossy, and you need to make mistakes on your own. Then you learn from them. Okay. But the one thing I will say, my son is a minister. He's in the ministry. And I said, he's got pretty blue eyes. And I said, if some desperate housewife wants to talk to him, you need to be at that meeting. So That's the only thing I'm going to say. And Cathy can probably attest to this because she's a minister's wife. And I said, and then if you can't make it, I'll be happy to come and be around that desperate housewife. I'll just be tickled to death to do that. So that's the only advice I ever gave her. And then another thing was, another piece of advice I gave her is, since she's so native to Russia, I said, girl, keep the Russian language strong. I said, because you can say things that you would love to say to him. He's not going to understand it because he doesn't speak Russian.
Does she speak English real fluently?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
She's an American citizen, and so she celebrates. Phil's birthday is October the 2nd, so that's the day she became an American citizen, and she celebrates it. She celebrates it like you do a birthday, and so we always have a little thing for her, because she's an American citizen, and so she was taught to respect America, and she knows more history than most of us do. She really crammed in it, and she loves history. And then, of course, she keeps her native Russian language. And so she's just an awesome thing. But Brad said, you know what? She speaks to me sometimes in Russian, but I've got a pretty good idea of what she's saying just from the contemporary. And I looked at her and I went, you keep that going, girl. You keep it going.
Well, these, people that actually aren't born and raised in the United States, you can see the love they have for our country.
Love it.
Because they have lived in an impoverished country. A lot of, migrants that have come from Africa and all these poorer areas, in the world. And they come to the United States, and oh my gosh, we are so blessed, Donna. We are so blessed. You can talk freely. You can talk on the phone. You can go to restaurants at night. You can go eat in the middle of the night at Waffle House, We
don't even know how good we got it.
No, it's so sad. And my heart is just bleeding for all the hunger and the famine and problems that they talk about on the news that are possibly coming across the world.
Well, that's another reason you and I have this show. This is just another reason, because you and I are gardeners, and we know how to can, and we know how to do all the stuff, and we just want to teach people how to do it. It's all simple. It's not as hard as it seems. I promise you.
Now you're a great canner. My mom used to can.
I love canning.
But now I don't can, but I do blanch and freeze. I put up stuff that way,
And that's important too. So how do you blanch? Let's just let some of
I did some fresh corn not long ago. My husband got fresh corn from his the other agent in the office with him. And Cherokee's it's beautiful land up there anyway, in Cherokee County. The corn was out of this world. It was so good, Donna. Now I can't see you, so I'm just talking to my screen here blindly, but so I don't know what my expressions are or anything, but
you're doing good.
The corn was fabulous. And so he sent me some more. I gave some my daughter, my friends. All of us moms were blanching corn that night, and I just do the 4-minute rule. I'm sure everybody does it however your parents did it. You probably can pull it up online, I'm sure, but corn's very easy to do. You just shuck it. I shuck all my ears, got them on the side of the counter, wash them good. In the meantime, I have 2 huge stainless steel pots, one that's filled with ice water and one that is on the stovetop on high heat. So it's boiling.
Yeah,
and then I set my clock timer 4 minutes. So 4 minutes in the hot, 4 minutes in the ice, and then I move it to a clean towel, and then I put them in the Ziploc bags and throw them in the freezer.
And it tastes just like you just picked the corn.
Oh, yes. When you pull it out of the freezer, it tastes like you just shucked it because all you're doing is blanching it. You know, you don't want to cook it, but you want to blanch it, which basically brings it to a hot enough temperature. So you're boiling in it in extreme heat for 4 minutes and then ice, cold water for
And that
4
just
minutes.
stops the cooking.
Yeah.
That just stops it from cooking right there.
Well, and it actually stores quicker. You could throw it in your Ziploc bags and then it's cooler. It's ready to go right in your deep freeze.
Ready to do what it's going to do. But you know, you can pickle just about anything. I mean,
Yeah, well, have you ever done like strawberry preserves or peach preserves or pear preserves?
yeah, I've been up to my elbows with peaches.
Oh, yeah. Oh, love that. How hard of a process is that?
It's
doing
not. It's
preserves?
really not hard at all. Now I've got a recipe where you use Sure Gel, and then I've got one where you don't use Sure Gel. I'd rather use the Sure Gel. I really had. I think it turns out a whole lot better, but you use a lot of sugar in both these recipes, and you won't be able to eat but about a teaspoon of it. It's that sweet, and it's so good because you got your fresh. So we got those fresh peaches from the trees. I don't know when you were here the other day if you saw all the peaches.
No, you didn't have peaches yet.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, I can't
Girlfriend.
wait to come up and see you and get some peaches.
Girlfriend. I'm
Mm.
gonna tell you, we had peaches all over the place. So what I did is I made peach preserves, and then I also made, or we call it peach jam, and then I
Yeah.
also dried a bunch of peaches. They're good on those fried peach pies. You know, those like your grandma used to make.
Oh yeah, like you do apples.
Uh-huh. So you just take them
Wow.
out, and then you got to revive them again by putting them in some moisture and some water.
Right.
Cook them a little bit, and then put them on some pie crust. I'm gonna tell you why I love those.
Well, you have that beautiful farmland. I don't have, because you know I live in like into the city more. I don't have farm, and the soil here is it's never grown well. So this year, you know what I did? I have a bunch of tubs, and I use Miracle Grow soil and feeder that's already in the Miracle Grow. And Donna, I had the best romaine lettuce, onions. I just actually dug up my potatoes, and they did great. Did you see the picture I sent you about with the
Yeah,
potato?
my mouth was watering.
Oh my gosh, next year I'm doing probably 3 tubs. And anybody can do that, Donna. Even if you live in an apartment, you can get a tub, a small little tub, and you cut holes in the bottom, put your soil in it. If you use the Miracle Grow soil, you know, it kind of keeps feeding it so you don't have to feed the plants. And you could choose however you want to use.
Hey, Kathy, it's the perfect thing for people who work.
Yes.
You got kids, you don't have to do any weeding. But now we did an experiment this month with block gardens. We're using cinder blocks. Do you know I had to do no weeding in this garden? And
yeah, it's like the tubs. Yeah, it's great.
A bumper crop. I mean, it's you know, you can use those little kiddie pools like at the Dollar General, whenever. Yeah, people use them.
Those little plastic pools. Yeah, I have one of those for my granddaughter, by the way.
Yeah, well, don't use that one.
I have one of those.
But you know, we're going to get ready now for the fall crop.
Okay, now what do you plant in the fall?
Your potatoes, carrots, anything that's a root.
Wait a minute, hold on. So now I can plant potatoes again now?
Yes, you can.
Oh, well, see, Donna, you just taught me something. I did not know that.
Oh, but let me tell you what you can do.
I thought I was done with potatoes.
No, get more. And let me tell you what you can do. Albertville Foodland Plus is one of our sponsors here on
Right.
Home. And so when you walk into any of the Foodlands, I think y'all have some Foodlands down there, don't you?
Not in Calhoun County, I don't think.
Okay, well,
I don't think we have one here. They may have one in Cherokee, though, in Cherokee County.
We'll just walk into the grocery store, and to the right-hand side, you're always going to see a cart. We call them buggies here, but few folks up north, a cart. So you can walk and you'll see the cart. Usually have some marked down vegetables and some maybe fruits and stuff like that. If you'll look and you see a couple of potatoes, and they're in a bag, maybe not be but 50 cents, and there'll be these little sprouts growing out on them. Get them.
That's right.
Because
do you know, Donna, that's how I did mine?
You got potatoes.
I actually grew potatoes haphazardly. I actually had bought some potatoes. They were out at the time, so I bought organic white potatoes. Correct? Well, the organic ones actually grow the spuds quickest. So I had 2 potatoes that had all these eyes, as we call them in the South, eyes, spuds, whatever you want to call them, the little sprouts. And I took those 2 potatoes and planted them. And you saw my photo, 5 huge potatoes is what grew.
Out of those that
you
don't throw anything away, because
that's right.
a potato that started sprouting, my goodness, that's a plant for you.
Yeah.
So go on ahead and do that. We're going to teach you little frugal things. We're going to teach you because our grandmothers didn't throw anything away, did they? Right. I mean, they kept everything. We're going to show you how to make soap out of lard.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and it's just our thoughts and ideas. It's if you like it, try it. If it works, then
you're gonna like it. You're gonna
like the potatoes. Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
That's and then you can also do vertical gardens. Oh, by the way, I planted a couple of loofah seeds. You know what that is?
No, I do not. Okay, Donna. So the viewing audience is probably wondering too.
Okay, we talked about this a little bit. We've probably got some new listeners, so I'm going to tell you about this.
Okay.
So a friend of mine, Deja Lee, she's an herbalist. She's just got it all going on. So she's on the show once a month. We always talk about gardening and stuff like that. She's a lot of fun. So she gave me some seeds, and she said, okay, this is going to be a loofah plant. And I said, wait, are you talking about like those little sponge things that Bath and Body Works sells you get bath with?
Oh.
She said, yes, you're going to have your own. This thing, I'm going to give you some seeds, Cathy. So you want to plant it somewhere where it can grow vertical. Okay, if it grows on the ground, they may rot or whatever. So you want it to grow up on something. I've got it growing actually all over that back deck. You saw the deck. So it's just about covered that deck from growing. So it's still going to be a few months now before it's ready. So I thought they just grew in the ocean, but they grow on a plant too. And so it's kind of like a little spongy thing. And then what you can do is you can take it and you take all the seeds out of it. You'll have loofah plants the rest of your life, because that's just one. It's going to give you seeds you'll be giving away to folks.
Wow.
So then you just cut it. Now you take this skin thing off. It's a relative to the gourd family. And so, the gourds, people have gourds and birds and stuff, going to make bird houses out of them.
Gourds make great bird houses.
Oh, they do. Yeah. And you paint them, all kinds of stuff with gourds. But with this loofah plant's what you pronounce it. And so it kind of grows like a big, long cucumber kind of ish, but it has this skin to it. You got to take that off. And then once you take that off, you just cut it in pieces and take baths with it.
Wow.
And it exfoliates, because you and I are into skincare.
That's a natural exfoliator.
It is. It is. So what you're doing is you're taking off that dead skin, and everybody's got it. Everybody's got dead skin. So you take that dead skin off, and a lot of women, Cathy, think they have wrinkles, and they really don't. All it is dead skin. And when
and I'm with you, Donna. I don't use a lot of fancy things either. I am a true soap and water girl.
Natural.
Yeah. When I was younger, I used Dial Gold because that was always great. I never had acne, probably because I used Dial Gold. And then as I grew older, I started using Dove soap. And a good moisturizer before bed. That's all I've ever done. Soap and water and a moisturizer before bed.
That's all you do. And do you know something? You can also use witch hazel as an astringent on your face, and that gets all the soap off.
Really?
And it's natural.
Well, I don't have any witch hazel, but
but you go.
I've never used it, but there's always something out there that women can send tips in. Speaking of, we're almost out of time here, Donna.
Just $1. Go to the drugstore or whatever for $1, and it's a huge bottle, about 8 ounces or 16 ounces for $1. And just use a cotton ball or something, and use it for astringent. Okay, I'm sorry, back.
We're running out of time, but I'm so excited to get to do this show that we're fixing to take off. Of course, today was a nice little just catch up meeting. So even though I can't see you now, you can see me, but I can't see
you. And the rest of the world can see you. So sorry, you can't see you.
Yeah, so I'm blindly talking into a computer. So this is real life, right? This is what our young college students and high school students are dealing with right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you can do anything on a budget. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Cathy, time is flying by. Let me see. Okay, we've got about 3.5 minutes left in this segment.
Oh, okay.
And you
Okay.
remember how fast time flew when we had our show?
Yes, it does.
Man,
I was going by the clock on the laptop, and it's 1 minute to 12. So I didn't know. You're on the TV time. See, I don't have your time on
a
here.
little bit over 3 minutes left in this segment.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so we've talked about what the show's going to be about, and really we're helping each other. This is all a team effort right here. So
Yes.
you guys who are listening and watching us, we want you to send us content. And if you have any advice for us, I'll take it. You can never know too much. You can
Right.
always.
And Donna, tell them how they can get in touch. Your IC, the Edge, it's all on Facebook, correct? Is there?
Absolutely. We're on Facebook, so you can find us several different ways. And
Right.
we also utilize, because the show is going to be on all the social media sites, Cathy's going to be sharing it. We're going to share it on the Edge with Donna and Cathy with a C.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're looking forward to that. And then on my Facebook page, and we're on Twitter, we're on Roku, we're on everything. So if it's social media, you're going to be able to find us. But you'll also be able to find us on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku. You know, it's just a little Fire Stick. So Roku, and we've got the stick, by the way. I love it, Cathy. I'll never pay for cable again. So
Wow.
Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire, and you're going to be able to find us this way. And I was just talking with Rob. By the way, Rob Patz is going to be on the show next week. We're looking forward to seeing him.
Okay, now, so I have to ask this, Donna, for your viewing area, you were telling, like for Calhoun County, will it be on, people can just pull it up on Roku?
Uh-huh.
Because like we have Roku.
All over the world.
We have Roku.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, all you got to do is look for Abundant TV.
Abundant TV on Roku. Okay.
And Rob keeps all of our shows on there too. So it'll be ongoing. So if Cathy said something about growing tomatoes in one of the shows, you want to look back on it and say, which show was that? You'll be able to go back in and look at it again.
Well, so, isn't that nice?
Yeah, and then you'll also be able to find us on Facebook and all that kind of good stuff too. So Cathy, if you've got an email address, would you like for people to send emails with maybe some show suggestions, or did you rather send them to me?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, it's up to you, Donna. I guess we need to discuss that and decide what we want to do when we do our first show. We might do an email like to the show.
Yeah,
maybe we could do that. That way, me and you both could reply.
Well, now what you can do is send it to Donna@afternoondrivehome.com. And that's Donna@afternoondrivehome.com. And we'll give Cathy an email address too, so it'll be set up on her computer, and she'll be able to send that as well. Cathy, 37 seconds left.
All right. Well, I enjoyed it. I love you, Donna, and I hope you all enjoyed the little chat time we had today. And we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Folks, we get ready for another segment coming up in just a very few minutes. Thank you again so much for watching. Remember now, you can catch us on all the social media sites. You can also find us on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You take care. I love you. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you, Cathy. Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Mountain, I just don't see it.